had no comment about the latest controversy he's facing.
Mr. Secretary, does your wife attend meetings with sensitive info? Mr. Secretary, does your wife have a security clearance?
Hegseth had already been facing scrutiny over the messages he sent in the Signal group chat about the U.S. strike on Houthi rebels that inadvertently included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg. Now questions for the Pentagon leader are growing over a report in the Wall Street Journal that Hegseth brought his wife to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed, according to multiple people who were present or had knowledge of the discussions. Back in early March, cameras captured Jennifer Hegseth entering the room of a bilateral meeting with the United Kingdom's Secretary of Defense. The Pentagon released a photo showing her seated in the room. That meeting coming just a day after the United States said it was ending intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Neither the White House nor the Pentagon have responded to requests for comment about why Jennifer Hegseth may have attended sensitive meetings or what her level of security clearance is. Jose?
Yamiche Elsendor in West Palm Beach, Florida. Thank you. Let's bring in the moderator of NBC's Meet the Press, Kristen Welker. Kristen, you just spoke to President Trump about the controversy surrounding Walton Hegseth's group chat on Signal. What did he tell you?
Jose, in a phone interview that lasted just over 10 minutes, President Trump was defiant in defending Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who played key roles in that Signal text chain in which attack plans were discussed. The president calling the matter fake news and arguing the strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen were successful. Now, notably, Mr. Trump said he had read the group text exchange. I pressed the president about reports that he'd been advised to fire Mike Waltz. He responded, "I don't fire people because of fake news and because of witch hunts." Jose?
And Kristen, you also asked the president about tariffs, those already in place and those about to take effect. What were your key takeaways?
Jose, I asked President Trump if the 25% tariffs he just announced on cars and auto parts are permanent. His response was absolutely they're permanent. And I pressed him on reports he urged auto CEOs not to raise prices. The president telling me, quote, "No, I never said that. I couldn't care less if they raise prices because people are going to start buying American-made cars." And Jose, I asked the president about his desire to annex Greenland. Mr. Trump saying there's a good possibility it could be done without military force, but added, "I don't take anything off the table." Jose?
Kristen Walker, thank you. And don't miss more from Kristen's exclusive interview with President Trump, as well as Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg. That's tomorrow morning on Meet the Press on NBC. There were protests today at Columbia University, this coming after a major shakeup in the school's leadership. Columbia University's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, announcing she has stepped aside. The move comes about a week after the university agreed to a list of demands from the Trump administration to keep about $400 million in federal funding. Also tonight, we're tracking hundreds of protests across the country today at Tesla dealerships around the world as well. More than 200 protests were scheduled by what organizers call a global day of action at Tesla showrooms, most of them happening without incident. In Watertown, Massachusetts today, the side mirror of a pickup truck struck 2 people. No serious injuries were reported. It comes after a series of incidents targeting Tesla vehicles over CEO Elon Musk's role in the Trump administration. Tonight, the FDA's top vaccine official has resigned from his post, blasting vaccine misinformation, along with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Steve Patterson has our report.
Tonight, a blistering rebuke from Dr. Peter Marks, the FDA's top vaccine regulator, suddenly resigning his post after being told to step down or be fired. In his resignation letter, Marks took aim at Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., saying he was hoping to work with Kennedy on his concerns about vaccinations, but it has become clear that truth and transparency are not desired by the secretary. He wishes subservient confirmation of his misinformation and lies. Marks was instrumental at the FDA, playing a key role in the approvals of several vaccines, including for COVID-19.
We know from clear and compelling evidence that vaccines save the lives of millions of children and adults every year.
In response to his resignation, an HHS spokesperson tells NBC News if Peter Marks does not want to get behind restoring science to its golden standard and promoting radical transparency, then he has no place at the FDA under the strong leadership of Secretary Kennedy. Dr. Paul Offit leads the Vaccine Education Center at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
I feel like the world has turned upside down. I feel like we've been invaded by a foreign country, and the goal of that foreign country is to destroy our entire public health system.
Marks's resignation comes as Kennedy's HHS hired analyst David Geyer to examine links between vaccines and autism. Geyer, known for spreading misinformation that vaccines do cause autism, a conspiracy theory that's been widely debunked. All this as measles surges through the country. With now more than 500 confirmed cases, the CDC says 97% are in those unvaccinated or with an unknown status. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
Still ahead tonight, our inside look at the DEA's fentanyl crackdown near our southern border.